You're listening to Overseas Dreams.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Diamonger, and you're locked into Overseas Dreams by the official Melody.
You are locked into Overseas Dreams. This is Wordplay Edition.
Yeah.
And I am here with none other than David Oxner
The
III,
third.
aka Just Dave,
Yeah.
aka Say It,
Divine time.
aka Divine Timing, aka There's One in Every Family. Any other things you go by?
That's enough.
Mr. Divine Timing himself. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing.
You doing?
I'm doing.
Good.
I'm all right. I'm making it.
We
I
all
can't-
making it, man.
I can't complain.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining me.
Thank
This
you
is
for having me.
Wordplay Edition, every third Thursday, now at Somerset
Mhm.
in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah.
So, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's Christmas time. It's holiday season.
Yeah.
Winter time, little winter blues, but
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I say I'm feeling good. Because normally this time of year it'd be like a. But this year I kind of was prepared for it.
I
I've been
mean,
keeping myself in some good vibes.
I'm cool with being a Grinch.
Yeah. What, you said been a Grinch?
Yeah, I mean, why not? He
Yeah.
was misunderstood.
Yeah.
That's how I feel anyway.
Aren't we all?
Exactly. So, Mr. Divine Timing himself. Thank you for joining me on this. And we are at Somerset. This is a really, really dope venue. You can't see the whole thing, but you can see the vibes behind us. So how did you become a part of Wordplay? Also, Deaf Poets Society.
So I guess Wordplay, it was one of the first open mics that I had found. I kind of got back out on the scene around February of 2024. And then I started looking for open mics. Like, man, I want to do this some more. And then
So you weren't attending any of them.
No, I wasn't attending anything. When I
Wow.
tell you I was off the scene, I was off the scene for about 15 years. And so when I started looking for open mics, I ran across, I seen one at Japs. And I just went. I just pulled up. The first one I didn't perform nothing. I just watched. And I was like, okay, I like this. And then the following month I went. And I just kept going every month and started building relationships. And the rest is history.
That's crazy. So if you popped up in February, but you didn't perform that month, and my first time was that March, so we performed for the first time at Japs on the same night.
I think so. I think I remember them saying Virgin to the mic when you got up there too.
Yeah, man, it's a whole vibe though.
Yeah.
It's a whole vibe. And
Jap-
now we are at Somerset.
Yeah, and there's a whole vibe in here too. I
It
always
is a
like
whole
Japs
vibe.
as a bar,
Yeah,
and this is a bar. This is another level in here.
it is. Y'all can't see it, but it's a whole lot of plants. I can't tell if they're real or fake, but I like foliage. So this is really doing it for me. The lanterns, it's a whole vibe.
Yeah,
It's a whole, and it's more intimate than Japs. I mean, Japs, you had the booths and you had the back, and it was a little different. This is more of an intimate space, bohemian kind of,
yeah.
It's dope. It's dope. It's dope. So you are not the newest member anymore.
Yeah,
you
we-
are the second to newest member of Deaf Poets Society. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Talk about that and the chat book that y'all just put out.
Yeah, so when I got on the open mic scene, I also was just like, well, let me try slam again. I used to do slam back at when I went to UC, but I knew that would be another way to meet some more poets. So I did a couple of doo-wops, slam
Yep,
poetry.
I saw it, Divine Timing.
events. And I did the Divine Timing poem there, and for some reason that one stood out to most people, and that name started to stick. And so went to another open mic over in Clifton at Sipwell's. It's a coffee shop over there. And
That's right.
I
haven't made it to that
Yeah,
yet.
I seen Nick Fury. He performed at that one, and then afterwards we kind of just started chatting. It's like, man, I think you'd be good for Deaf Poets Society, because I didn't even know about it.
That's
And so I was
dope.
just like, oh, a national slam. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for nationals.
How you get recruited on like your first, second interaction? That's crazy.
Man, well, the divine timing stuff, if I was to really break down every relationship, because these are all new relationships this year, and it's all been, I guess I call them synchronicities in that way, where you could tell I was meant to meet such and such on this day to talk about a headache. All these relationships just keep building off of each other. Yeah. Nick being the first one, he was kind of the first one to be like, hey, come join, something that we think you'd be dope at. And then I kind of put it together. I was like, oh shit, that's what I was looking for. I wanted, I started last year. Well, I started 2023 going into 2024 off like, I need to go and find my people. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it took me getting out on the scene to be able to run into those people and for those relationships to happen. And so Nick, I always give Nick credit on his passion for poetry, his passion for building out what he knows can be a dope slam team. And I think we put together a good team now. So I'm excited about
Absolutely.
And releasing the chapbook was sort of just like, let's wet the beak a little bit, let people know that, hey, we could put some bars together. And they be selling pretty well. People are still whatever about physical books. Some people get them on Amazon, but I personally don't. I really don't read a lot of other people's poetry. I'm trying to get myself to start.
I don't read a lot in general.
Yeah.
But I'm a page turner.
Right.
If I'm gonna get something, it's gonna be physical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's been dope, man. I seriously, I cannot complain about. You had dreams to be like, man, I would love to publish my stuff one day, and then meeting them, I'm publishing a couple months. Like, oh,
exactly.
It happened.
Crazy.
And all the procrastinating in books that I have up in my files that I never do anything with. So
that's what you get.
Yeah, it's been a blessing, right? You get what you ask for, right? They say be careful what you wish for, because now you gotta be ready for it. And
yeah.
But it sent me on the path, so now I can't stop it. Just every idea that come, I'm like, well, come on, let's try it, let's put it out.
Right.
So it's been good.
That's what's up. How many poems are in the book?
I submitted two of mine. Two of mine are in there. I think everybody did 2, maybe 3.
Okay. Dope. And where can people find the book?
So you go on Amazon.com, you search Deaf Poet Society, will pop up. You can also go to 820.co. It's on my website. You can get it off of there. And Deaf Poet Society, we actually have a website that we've designed and we'll be launching here soon. More details on that top of the year for sure. We're going to be dropping Deaf Poet's website because we have a lot going on, so we need a location for people to see everything that's going on with Deaf Poet Society. So we're going to look out for that too.
What's up. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You are a published author. And now you have to follow through.
Oh, yeah, I do. I don't have a choice.
You can't just sit on the files now. It's like, nah, you got to.
No, they coming out. They coming out. That's been my rule. If I create it, it's gonna most likely try. I'm trying to get it all out. So it's
absolutely. Speaking of 820, you have merch.
Yes. Been trying it all. Pretty much just using the tools that's out there. There's so many tools, Shopify's and getting websites and finding suppliers to make your merch, designing it on Canva. Like when I say I'm experimenting and trying it all, I'm really trying it all. I'm not really, design is not my background, but Canva's easy enough for the simpletons like me to get on there and make some decent stuff.
Canva.
So
It's not for graphic designers like me.
It's for
non-graphic
designers like
because
me.
I look at Canva and I'm like, I don't know where to start.
Right.
But you give me Photoshop or something like that, and it's like, all right, boom.
And I'm the total opposite. I'd be looking at Photoshop like, where do I start? What? No, Canva's. So it literally makes sense why Canva exists for entrepreneurs like me who want to dabble a little bit, don't want to keep waiting for a turnaround or paying for every single design.
True.
So
yeah.
I kind of been following it's almost like doing surveys. You look at the results and then you try and do something else. So when Divine Timing, the poem, started to kind of grow in popularity, I was like, it's such a spiritual message and it means so much just to me and how things work. So I was like, let me slap it on a t-shirt and on the hoodie and see if people get it. Lo and behold, people start buying them. And I was like, it's like flattering at the same time, because at the end of the day, I still think of myself as just like regular dude that's just kind of like, I enjoy doing poetry. I enjoy branding. In my personal, professional life, I've always been in sales and a marketing person, but to do it for like my own stuff or something that I created, it was fascinating. It was one of the biggest like eye openers this year. It's like, oh wow, if you kind of build a brand behind your messaging and the stuff that you do, you can create other streams of revenue and stuff for yourself. And I'm telling you, everything's just keep leading me on this path of keep going. Keep going. Keep
that's
creating
right.
stuff. Keep putting this infrastructure out there, and you never know what can come of it. You never know.
Listen, I feel you. I am currently trying to grow Overseas Dreams past just being a radio show, because it was a radio show for a while, and maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, when I dropped my most recent album, I was like, nah, I need this to be a brand. I want to funnel everything through Overseas Dreams, music, poetry, like, so yeah, for sure.
That's the times we're in. It's no matter what your opinions are on social media and everything, is the world has pretty much forced everybody to become their own channel.
Yeah.
And your job is to put who you are and what it is that you do on your channel, and the universe will find you. The people out there in the world will find you. It's been very fascinating to just put stuff out, and you start connecting with people who you didn't even know exist.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I when I seen that you had a radio show, that's what made me reach out. I was just like,
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, like every
That's
poet
so
that I've
crazy.
met, I go look you guys up, even if it's just a quick social. Like, oh, what do they do? Okay, they do Palms Pool. Let me look. I'm like, radio show. Oh, we need to chat a little
That's
bit.
so crazy.
Because my degree's in communications.
Got you. Okay.
Oddly
So
enough.
you got a little bias.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I approach the world like a journalist. Like, I'm super curious in that way. I've just always been a curious person. If you look at the content that I consume the most, just when I'm at home working and stuff, it's interviews. I'm pretty sure well above 10,000 hours of just watching people do interviews, because I understand like media, I understand messaging, I understand creating narratives and how important it is to shape your own narrative. And so I understand the power of radio. And I watched a couple episodes of your show. I'm like, oh, girl's good. I watched you and Ty episode.
Look at that.
I'm like, she
God
knows
is
what she's
good.
doing.
God is good.
We just need to collaborate and let's try and get some more eyeballs and some more ears on somebody who's dedicated to the craft. And
You know what? This is still a new concept for me, though. I just started interviewing poets last June. I didn't know why. It was just like, I just want to merge poetry and Overseas Dreams. This is the only way I could think of to do that.
yeah,
So that's
Great idea.
crazy that you reached out, because I'm like, just Dave. Why he reaching out to me? I was like, let me find out about this divine timing here. That's crazy.
yeah. I think every poet I've run across, they've gotten a DM from me for something.
That's dope, though.
I'm a collaborator.
Yeah, for sure. It might take me a minute, but just because I haven't reached out to you yet, don't mean that I don't see you.
Yeah.
I be scoping, especially now that I'm out here. I'm scoping. It's quite a few people I got my eye on.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just takes me a minute. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like, it's a line. And it's also first come, first serve.
Right.
So, if I hit you up and you respond, boom.
Yep.
You don't, I come back to you. But,
It's still some I got unread messages out there, or they might be read, just unresponded to.
yeah,
That's part of the game. You can't take it personal. You just keep your flow
Hey,
going.
but if you don't respond, you miss out.
Right.
That's just how I see it. Or it ain't the
Eventually
time.
they'll hear it and then they'll reach back out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you even reaching out for
Absolutely.
sure. Because definitely, like, when I moved out here, I was like, I want two things. I want, like, because it's already online. So, somebody in Sweden can hear it. That's fine. Fantastic. But I was like, I want a local reach, and I want to partner with somebody, some radio station, some whatever. It didn't matter. Because I've never done that before. So it was like, once I started interviewing poets, it was already bigger than me. I was like, I needed to be even more bigger than me, because that's where I find purpose. It's got to be bigger than me. Granted, I think that's kind of a rule of thumb for life. Like, it needs to be bigger than you. So, yeah.
No, that's dope.
Appreciate you.
For sure.
So, between, like, what was the time period between when you wrote Divine Timing and when you performed Divine Timing?
Let's see. So, okay. So, back in March, 2024. So February is when I did my first open mic. In March, I got invited by a guy who was at the open mic. His name's Rennie Lawrence. He invited me to perform at the Cincinnati Shakespeare Company. After that, I was re-inspired to to write. Because being completely honest, like I don't write a lot of spoken pieces, like pieces that are meant to be performed. And so it's almost like the more that I performed again, like got back out there, just inspired new stuff. And so I think around April, it just came to me one day. I was thinking about, in my personal life, I literally have been thinking about, like me and my dad's relationship is just now rekindling. And so I think around April, it just came. I'm one of them people, I could be driving, I could be in the shower, and it's spiritual. It just comes. I start typing, and next thing you know, it's like I'm reading it, like, wow, where did this come from? I'm trying to remember the first time I performed it.
I know I heard you at Doo-Wop. It had to be like April or May. Somewhere.
Yeah,
it was
at
my
Doo-Wop.
very first Doo-Wop slam that I ever attended.
That was my first time performing it.
Wow. So that was a fresh piece.
Yeah, it was fresh. It was the March was that show, and then whenever that first Doo-Wop slam around that time, that was my first time actually performing it. I mean, I perform like I go full blast in the house, like practicing or whatever,
Right.
but in front of a crowd, yeah, at that show, that was my first time performing it, and I knew it was a powerful piece. Just it was one of them times where just the way it all came and the story, and I know that, you know, poetry slams, and I know a lot of people have a lot of family members who've dealt with drug abuse in different ways, and so I knew it was going to be something that touched people, but I didn't think it was going to, like, people was going to respond to it like that.
You know it's going to hit like
Yeah,
that.
it hit.
And that was your first slam.
Yes.
And you got third
place?
place?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, that's why it's divine timing, because, again, I went to that slam, I didn't research none of the other poets. I didn't know how good people were. I just was just like, God was just like, go up there. Just go get on stage, and the message is supposed to get out there, and just stay in your zone. And I had my kids with me, too. So
That's dope.
a lot of what I'm doing is, like you say, doing stuff that's bigger than you. I've been sitting on all this art for years. My kids didn't even know I wrote poetry. Like, a lot of my friends and closest friends didn't know that I wrote. They didn't even know this was a part of me. If you was to be like, hey, you know Dave Oxner? They're going to give you all these other things they know me from. This poetry stuff is new to a lot of people. And so when it meant something for me to be like, I got to put this story out so that one day, if I'm no longer here, my kids can be like, my daddy was a poet, here go his stuff. You know, I want my family members to be able to, I want my art to be documented, you know, so that my family and people can know who I was, that I existed in the world. And so I'm happy that poem resonates and touched people. It's very, I'm
I think I
appreciative of
even
it.
used divine timing in a couple of my poems.
I think I heard you use it. I heard Nancy use it. I heard Nick use it.
It's so easy to do, because like when you hear it, it's now it's stuck in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, shout out just Dave, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like I said, you have to give glory to God with stuff like that, because it's just that life reminder, you know, because life is full of so many ups and downs, and you pray for stuff or you work hard at stuff, and you be thinking like, if I work hard Monday through Thursday, on Friday I should get a result. Like, no, like life don't work like that.
Unfortunately.
Like, you could bust your butt Monday through Friday for like 10 years straight, and then on that 11th year, God is like, all right, now it's time to bless you with the
Yeah.
and you'll hit it. You be like, yeah, it
Yeah.
happened right when it was supposed to. And then it just be them moments where you be like, yeah, divine timing. Because, yeah, it's interesting.
Now, I know you stepped on the scene in February. Were you writing poetry heavily before then?
Yeah, so poetry's always been my therapy outlet, like ever since I was in high school. But it was always kind of kept to maybe a few people, like whoever I'm dating or just friends I'm close to. It was always something I kept close, but I never was on the scene performing. When I tell you I was so far away from the poetry scene, I was, you know, working corporate jobs, raising my family, coaching basketball. I used to be a party promoter, so I understood like the bar and club scene, but definitely nothing had to do with poetry. But as life over all those years, if you look through any of my notes on my phones, I got notebooks full of poems. I got hundreds of poems that's just sitting around in my Google files. I got poems everywhere. And so a lot of what I've been performing this year, only like 20% of it is new. All this stuff is years and years of stuff that's been sitting that I've been going back and just like, oh, I could perform this. I just need to change the cadence and how it's delivered. But a lot of this stuff is just old stuff from me going through life all these last, call it 10, 12 years. So yeah, been writing, but I just started back actually performing in public in 2024.
Okay. Bet. So what made you start your company, 820? What is the meaning behind that?
Great question. I get asked that. That's probably the question I get asked the most. That I didn't realize people was paying attention to it in that way because it doesn't come with an explanation. So the whole divine timing part goes like this. 820, August 20th, the first significance of that date. In 2013, my best friend, Paul Jackson, him and I started our party promotion company together while we was in college called 5 Star Entertainment. And that's how I kind of got my name when I went to UC, and even after UC was promoting parties. And he was my right-hand man, one of my best friends. He passed away in 2013. His birthday is on August 20th.
Gotcha.
First significance. Second significance is my son, when we got the due date for when he was going to be coming, was 8/20. It was August 20th.
Wow.
And when I tell you on August 20th, on his birthday, it was the smoothest. I have 3 kids. He's my youngest. It was the smoothest delivery. I mean, like, no nothings. It was quick. It was like nothing, so I knew that was. And so I named my son's middle name is my best friend's name, Paul. And so 820 was significant in my life from them 2 things. Third thing, my dad, and within my dad's story, him being on drugs for 30 years, like it's legit 30 years. I didn't know this at the time, but on August 19th, my dad, that's his sobriety date. The next day that my dad, I'm talking about 8 years ago now, the next day was when my son was born.
I remember that
August
from the
20th.
poem.
That's in the poem. And so that's a true story. And so with 820 having so much significance of my friend passing, my son's birthday, and then my dad, spiritually, I believe in you have to give death to certain things in order to birth new things, death and life. So I feel like my dad killed, drugged on August 19th to give birth to all the things that came on August 20th via my son and just my realization. So I was like, I'm going to name my company that. I'm birthing a media company on the same day that has so much significance to me. So that's the meaning behind it.
Okay.
I need to come up with like an elevator pitch answer for that, but that's the first time I've kind of explained that all the way thoroughly, like in full. So
I like
thanks for
thorough
the question.
explanations. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And how long have you had it?
I started on August 20th. Is when I actually incorporated it. So the name, to be honest, I was looking at some old pictures. This time last year, I was starting some events, but in a different area. I was kind of messing with the restaurant industry, and I started to play with the idea of 820 back then. So I had the name about a year, but I actually incorporated it August 20th of 2024. So it's fresh.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And you sell what? Hats, hoodies? I know you sell hoodies.
Yeah, right now just t-shirts, hats, and hoodies.
Okay.
I keep it pretty simple because
Yeah.
that's more of a just test it out to see if people, want merch.
Right.
I'm more focused on the website, just somewhere where people can see the events and stuff that's going on. Like, because the poetry scene is starting to pop around the city. Like, now when I was doing poetry back at UC, it was like this. It was stuff going on at the Greenwich. There used to be a poetry night on campus. It was events popping up, national poets from Def Poetry. Like, I've seen Shihan, the poet that was on Def Poetry Jam. He's come here. Black Ice has come here. This is back in the day. And so what I'm seeing now reminds me of back then. I was like, oh, the scene is popping, which is, it's not a lot of cities that can say they got 5, 6, 7 different open mic nights that they can go to within a month and get their stuff off. So we have something really bubbling here. So that was another reason. I was like, well, let me just create a website and just put them all up there. And if people need to be like, where the poetry nights at, they can just kind of go and see.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That is one thing I love about Cincinnati. It's like even when one ends, another one pops up. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alice Bar, is that a monthly thing?
Yeah, Alice will be the first Thursday of every month.
Okay.
Which I'm excited about because I love that space as well.
Haven't been yet.
It's an artist, to me, it's an artistic dream. It's just a multi-sensory space, similar to the Somerset, but a whole different vibe, super vibrant. I like you're gonna like the vibes in there.
Okay.
it's a little bit more space too than Somerset, but yeah.
It's
I
called
like
Poetic
Alice.
Vogue.
Poetic Vogue, yeah. Fresh, who we talked about, newest member of Deaf Poet Society. Fresh the poet, she's been doing Poetic Vogue, and she has her contract ended with her last venue, and one of them DMs, I was like, hey, Fresh.
You do not hesitate to jump in the DMs, man.
Hey, Fresh, I think we can mutually, because that's just the truth. Like, that's the point of collaborating. It's just like,
Right.
I know how hard it is as a promoter or somebody who put events together to be working on something, and then for whatever reasons you can't get that venue no more, and then you got to go out and find one. And so very rarely somebody hits your inbox like, got a venue, got a team, this is what we can all do. And she was just like, hey, I'm with it, and so I was like, perfect, come mess with us, venue, the name, we help you push it and can make sure it continues to grow. Because Fresh has some amazing voices that follow her, people that follow her. She's a dope poet herself, and I see myself as like, I enjoy being an artist myself and having an outlet, but because of just the skill sets and things that I've learned working and being, an event planner, I also want to be a platform for other people to be able to do their thing and not
Right.
feel stifled. And everybody don't like negotiating with the bar owners and reading contracts and all. I'm like, I don't mind that stuff. So it's just like, if I can help do that a little bit so that you can keep doing your thing, like that's my biggest goal. And I'm happy that the divine timing worked out with Fresh. I don't want to share Fresh's story and stuff, but at the time that I hit her, life was lifing in her direction, and she's, I'm happy that I was comfortable enough to reach out because I had seen her a few times in the scene, and vice versa. That's what it's about, right? We should be able to support each other in that way, and I'm happy that it's working. I cannot wait. There's some dope stuff playing to Alice.
Yeah, I love it. I love it out here. I've been saying, I came from, the Fayetteville, North Carolina poetry scene, which, for a small city, big town, because it's only like 200,000 people. But I mean, the poetry scene was dope. That was my start. Man, that would have been the only thing to keep me in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, for real. I didn't want to leave because of the bonds that I built with them. And so when I got out here, I was like, I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
I need to see what's popping.
Yeah.
Like, I need to find my people. I need to find my tribe. And
we might have
at
to take a
first,
trip down to Fayetteville.
It was a bit of a struggle at first because I came here to visit last August. I'm just looking. I didn't know about some of the Facebook groups at the time. I'm just looking, and literally that weekend there was only one open mic, and it was at Motor Pub, and I was like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's gotta be more than this. And then I get here and I'm finding some of the Facebook groups, and I found out that Zeta Stew was from Cincinnati or in Cincinnati. And it's crazy because she slammed in Fayetteville in last September. And I remember was like, she looks familiar. Let me slide in them DMs.
Yeah.
Like, and I was still in North Carolina at the time.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't moved yet. And I was like, hey, I see that you're in Cincinnati. I'll be moving, near soon. This and that. She was like, yeah, for sure. She was like, yeah, you should, when you get here, you should hit up Nick Fury. So I looked him up and I was like, okay, cool. Never did hit him up. But my first time at Motor Pub after moving here, he showed up in the second half, and I was just like, that looks like the dude on Facebook. And so after, I'm sure like he was probably thinking I was strange because I was fanning out for a bit. I was like, excuse me, are you Nick Fury? So that was it. It was like, yeah, but the poetry scene out here is insane.
Yeah.
And I haven't even come across maybe just half of it. There's a lot of events I can't get to, but it's insane.
It is. I'm telling you, Cincinnati has a scene that I say it rivals like Chicago is who I mimic a lot because of how close we are in proximity. But in terms of just we're developing into that, like just a vibrant scene with a lot of poets who do a lot of different stuff. And people starting to put it out. I'm seeing books dropping. Makai's dropping a book soon. Nick's dropping another book soon.
Yep, January.
Yeah, in January. So that's dope because it's, like we talked about, it's a lot of poets just be sitting on material and they telling me the same thing. Like, Dave, when yours coming? Like, I'm working. My goal was to push everybody else stuff out. And then I'll come fourth quarter next year, probably, most likely. Or probably third quarter. I'm thinking my birthday around September. But no, it is definitely dope. Fayetteville, I think we might need to hop on the road and take you
shout
home.
Shout out to all the Fayetteville poets. Like, I will never forget where I came from in that regard. I'm not from there, but I will never forget where I came from in that regard.
Yeah.
Just every I don't even want to name folk because it's just too many, but just Keith Edwards so well, LJ, Sarah Caitlin Fox, Shaken Not Stirred, my goodness, it's Verse, Amanda Graham Bullard, all of y'all. Y'all keep doing it. Y'all keep doing it.
The Fayetteville poets, y'all got a open invitation to come up to Cincinnati.
For sure.
Anytime
Absolutely.
y'all want to hit the road.
Listen, you gonna see them at Southern Fried.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to get to Southern Fried.
Yeah, because last year they ranked 4 in the nation. This year they ranked 6. So you're gonna see them next year for sure.
Good. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, they're dope.
I've been looking up a lot of poets that go to Southern Fried. I'm like, ooh.
Listen, I might just go because it's a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
I just want to speculate.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like a blast. Like even just even the little slams. I ain't even talking about like the bouts or anything, but like the open mics on the first day that I've heard about, and just the little.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like when that was Nick's. Nick, I didn't know about Southern Fried, so when Nick told me about it, I'm like, wait, there's a national thing for this? Sign me up. Like, let's go.
I need to find some more though. I know there's another one. Man, there's one specifically in Florida. I can't. It's like Exit.
I seen
something.
that. I don't remember the name. It's blanking me too, but I think I seen it somewhere.
And then there's another one. I can't remember what it's called. It's not a whole lot that I've come across. Southern Fried is like the biggest name I keep hearing.
It is. It's been a dominant name within the circles that I've seen so far.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we're not far from Dayton. And they got a scene up there, I've heard.
Yeah. Working with some Dayton
Brave
poets.
Nate is up there.
We trying to do a Cincinnati versus Dayton poetry.
You're from Dayton, right?
I'm from Toledo.
Okay,
Yeah,
my bad.
Toledo. No
My bad.
worries.
Wrong territory.
I'm not territorial with the city stuff like
I
that.
am. It's like saying, you're from Kansas City, aren't you? No, I'm from St. Louis. Get it right.
Oh, yeah, I know the St. Lunatics
And they
don't play
got 2
about that.
slam teams.
Do they?
Hustle City is one. That's the main name that you'll hear. And then there's another one. I can't remember the name. But I've seen they got 2. Like, all right now. I ain't there, but I need y'all to represent.
That's what's up.
I keep tabs on certain ones. I know last year I was kind of following the list of who was winning, what slam teams were like in the lead with Southern Fried. Like I said, Fayetteville, Detour came in fourth. I think Right About Now won. Right About Now is something else.
Yeah.
I found them on YouTube. I ain't looked back since.
I got them on I call it my hit list of places I want to travel to.
Yes.
I want to travel to Houston
Absolutely.
sometime next year and go get on that stage. Voices in Power, that's
Sure.
another stage that's been on my brain. Gotta hit the East Coast.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I haven't done that research, but I've heard Voices in Power hosts like a virtual open mic every Thursday or something. I would have to look into that. I would have to look into
I
that.
haven't done the virtual ones. I gotta get my brain wrapped around. Like, all right, I'm in the house. I'm doing this on Zoom.
Yeah.
Because I feed off crowd. So no crowd. But I'm sure I could do it. But yeah, we're going to have to look that up. Because I'm all about putting your name in the hat.
I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
I am getting a little better at that.
One thing I didn't mean, like last year before I did a slam, I did go down to Miami around this time last year because I got some friends that live down there, and I like going like to get away for the winter, just try and get a little sun.
Yes.
And I found an open mic and a poetry scene down there, which they have a dope scene down there. It's what is it? Mellow Mood Mondays every Monday
That
in
sounds
Miami.
like a whole
It's a
vibe.
vibe. I'm talking about the space is dope. It's really dope. But that was another stage where I kind of was able to go get some jitters out I'm like, they don't know me.
You know what? The whole idea of performing somewhere you've never been, you don't live in, like you're literally just visiting, scares the mess out of me. So my first time at Motor Pub, before I even moved out here, because I was going back to North Carolina, but it was just like, this is my first time performing outside of Fayetteville. And it's crazy. LJ Bowen, shout out to you. He told me and another poet at the time in Fayetteville, he was like, you know, y'all are good, but you need to get out your comfort zone. You need to find other cities to perform in, because Fayetteville right now is your comfort zone. And at the time, I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I knew I was coming out here. And when I tell you, when I went back home, I was rejuvenated. And Motor Pub is not, you know, the lit space.
Yeah.
It's a little bit on the, you know, quiet side. But just even having the courage to get up there. Because when I was looking for open mics that particular weekend, I wasn't planning to perform. I just wanted to go. And that day I was just like, why not?
Yeah.
Literally, why not? Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
That's why I love Nick's piece that talks about like how much fear people have for public speaking.
I hate public speaking.
I liken like a poet is similar to like the comedian's like journey, you know, being on that stage, just you, a microphone, and an audience.
Oh, man.
It could be a scary thing. So, you know, us poets, we are blessed and gifted in that way to be able to get up there. And once we in our zone, we got everybody's attention for those 2-3 minutes that we up there
I
rocking.
kind of like it better though than like comedy because I don't have the pressure on me of being funny.
Yeah.
I don't have that expectation. You either like the piece or you don't.
Right.
But I don't have to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Like, I may be looking for some snaps. I don't necessarily need a rewind that'll throw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't have the expectation that I have to be funny. But at the same time, I'm still in my head like, these people don't want to hear what I got to say. But it's like, but they listen to the other poets. That's what they here for.
Yeah.
Might as well talk your ish.
That's a dope. It's a dope experience to come into rooms where people want to hear poetry, like because their ears are tuned. They listen for the metaphors or the stories or whatever each poet got to say. I can't say that like Cincinnati has rooms where they want to hear the poet, like what you have to say.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Sometimes the music is even distracting or the antics. It's literally like, what do you have to say? And I really appreciate that about the scene here is people because they come to listen and they be in tune for sure.
So, and the crowds, like the audience, is very receptive. Like very receptive. Like I get like in some spaces the audience is a little bit more reserved, or maybe if you know that poem maybe just didn't hit, it's just like crickets. And that could be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the audience seems to be really receptive, especially to virgins on the mic. I'ma big you up. Because it's crazy that I just got out here, and I'm a very introverted person. I'm borderline shy. But I have been volunteering people since I got out here. I don't do that. But it's like, no, hey, they want to sign up. Like, they write poetry. Go ahead, sign them up. And they just be looking at me like, you might as well, because why not?
It's a gift. Like I feel like we were all given these gifts for a reason. Or orators, the ability to tell stories, the ability to translate emotion, the ability to translate what we see going on in the world. This is like our version or our way to tell our story to the world or our views to the world. It truly is a gift that I'm grateful for. That's why I kind of take it serious when I do get up there. Like I practice, I have it in my head. Like this is how I want it to go, how I want it to sound, the message that I want to convey. I want to be intentional with it, I guess. This go round. So I'm telling you, that's why I try and compliment poets. Good job for getting up there, because I know how hard it is to get up there. I know it's people sitting on. I've been seeing my high school girlfriend who's a dope poet, and I ain't been out there in 15 years. She ain't been out there in more than that, but I've been seeing her posts lately. And I'm like, finally, you know what I mean? Because I know how fearful some people are of just like, do I really want my feelings and my out there? It's hard. And oddly enough, I'm also an introvert.
I don't see that.
But when I come outside, I'm already in my head planned. I gotta turn that extrovert switch on. I'm a Virgo, so I guess I got that switch that Virgos turn on to end up to become like the whatever of the room. But in my nature, like, I'm introverted. I much rather kind of be to myself and observe. And
Yeah.
but when it's time to turn it on, I'm like, all right, we gotta turn it on.
Yeah. I feel that. Tell us about There's One in Every Family.
There's One in Every Family. So that started with when I was going down the journey of telling my dad and I's story. There's One in Every Family has been a concept in my head probably since like 2007.
Wow.
That was when I was in college, and that's when I used to just write as like a trying to understand how in the hell did I grow up. So it's been documented. My dad and I had did a podcast with one of my best friends where we basically tell a lot of my like background story and my dad's background story. I mean, I do. I come from, my mom had me at 15. I have 3 younger brothers. She had by the time she was 21. So she's 21, 4 kids. My dad's on drugs. It's so many family members that are been affected by drugs, like 4 generations in my family. I'm talking about great-grands, grands, pops, sibling, like that era. So I'm like, I've only ever known drug addiction or the recovery from, or you a family member of, or a son of, or it just sprouts in all these different directions. And once I started meeting people, and you meet other people who have another family member that was on drugs, or they dealt with it in some ways, and that term, there's one in every family, it just popped in my head. Like, it truly is. Everybody could always relate into that. And so you fast forward all these years, when I got back on I'm gonna be performing and writing this stuff, I'm like, that's gonna be the stage play. I'm gonna make that it started off as a one-man show. Like, it was a combination of my poems that are about the subject, and the Cincinnati Shakespeare Company had invited me to put my play, There's One in Every Family, in front of Hamlet as an opener. But production-wise, stuff ended up like not lining up, like just in the timing and how we were doing it. And so, me being who I am, I just went ahead and rented out Washington Park myself. And I did There's One in Every Family, the stage play version, myself, as a one-man show. But then I ended up inviting some other artists. That's where I worked with a singer, and I worked with Camille Jones, who's a contemporary, like she's a dancer, to incorporate into the show. And that was my introduction into doing what I consider my first stage play, There's One in Every Family. And it's telling the story of a kid who's coming up in college, dealing with 4 generations of drug abuse and recovery at the same time while he's trying to go to college. And where he finds moments of solitude through doing poetry, through listening to jazz, through dance, through music. I'm kind of telling, like, basically my coping mechanisms going, dealing with chaos. And that's where that came from. And then that grew into, once my dad saw me do the first one, he's like, I kind of saw myself up there with you. And, we grew up in the church. Yeah. And so even though me and my dad obviously weren't around each other for a long time, a lot of him obviously is still in me. So I find out he can sing. He's also, he's a minister now. And so he has the same public speaking ability. So I wrote a version where him and I get on stage and do a 2-man.
That's dope.
So I went back to Toledo, which is our hometown, and we did a 2-man version in front of the church, in front of all our family members. And it was probably one of the most powerful, like, healing experiences that I've experienced as an adult, because you got our whole family listening basically to my dad own up and be honest about, where he was in life, me be honest about where I was in life, but we reconcile right there on stage and pray together. And it was just, you could feel the tension sort of just kind of leave the church during that moment. And so There's One in Every Family has just as much of that divine timing sprinkles on it as the rest of a lot of my other work does. But I have a lot of plans in 2025. We're going to go back up to Toledo and I'm realizing that the church community, the AA community, the homeless community, these communities that my dad was a part of for all these years, they connect to that part of the work, because we have a whole generation of our parents who have now recovered from a lot of those things, But nobody tells the story of them doing well and getting reacclimated into the world, building the relationships back up with their kids who are now grown and got their own families. And it's just a lot of information in there that talks. It's all connected to our families. Like it's pretty much all about re-piecing together the Black family. And I'm using my art to try and tell those stories, be vulnerable, and show like, hey, you can reconnect with your family, and it ain't easy, but you can do it, and it's possible, and we can build some stronger families going forward.
That's what's up. Well, I look forward to seeing the beast that you. I mean, you already the beast now, but the beast that you're gonna be in 2025, and them books.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like you sitting on quite a few, not just one.
Yeah. To be honest, I've been waiting on the books because, like I said, I treat things like an experiment. So the chap book helps me understand.
Yeah.
Like once I get done being an artist, I go screw my professional cap back on, and I look at analytics. I look at the data. I look at like who's looking at what, how much stuff people purchase. And when I do release my books, I want to have some data behind it of like, all right, now I know how to market it because I've tried to do it a couple times and it worked, and whatever didn't work, and then we were able to improve. No, it's so much work just
I'm
chilling.
excited. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. David Oxner III, a.k.a. Just Dave, a.k.a. Divine Timing, a.k.a. there's one in every family. Thank you for being a part of the first, but not last,
Absolutely.
wordplay edition of Overseas Dreams.
Absolutely. I thank you for having me. I thank you for having this platform.
Absolutely.
It's not easy to create these things and build things on your own, but you're doing it.
Oh, it's a love.
I want to do my part in making sure that as many ears and as many eyes can see how talented you are,
Oh, stop
and that
it.
you just want to help put people and put positive energy into the
Sure.
airwaves.
Got to.
Because that's what's needed. That's what's needed right now.
Got
It's
to.
a lot going on. We got to do our part and put the positive frequency and put the positive energy into the airwaves. So I appreciate you for having
It's
this.
a necessity,
Uh-huh.
and it's therapeutic.
It is. It is.
This is it's supposed to be, everything you do is supposed to be life-giving. I'm trying to spread that.
Absolutely. We appreciate you.
Till next time, y'all be blessed. Peace.
Peace out.
Dreaming overseas, still bumping you, just chilling in the VL. Drinks on me in the VIP. I be chasing green, now I'm dreaming overseas. Yeah.
Gotta get this money, nah, I can't take a backseat. Overseas Dreams is the only place you catch me.
You're listening to Overseas Dreams.